Hello, everyone. This is Barb Techel from joyfulpause.com. I hope you are doing well. I know there's a lot going on in the world, and yeah, it can feel a little bit scary, a little bit frustrating. So I hope this month's reading will provide some insight and some stability and some groundedness to help you move forward. Astrologically wise, if you follow astrology, we are going into a chaotic time come mid August. So I hope this reading will just provide a foundation, again, to help you find balance and to stay stable and, to continue to move forward and enjoy your life despite the outside circumstances of the world right now. And I do feel that the card I pulled as a theme is very appropriate to help us with this. We are also in Leo season, and why I have my lion statue behind me along with my card from my deck, which is the message of courage. Because it does take courage to live in the times that we are living in right now, but it's also a great opportunity to step into our full natural born leaders that we are, our own power, to express ourselves of who we authentically are. So I think lion is really representing that so beautifully. And lion is also about the ruler of the heart. So I really believe we can't go wrong if we move from the space of our heart. Though I will say I'm connected with, living from a conscious state of being. And being an awareness of not only what's going in the outside world, but how can we move through these times and stay connected to ourselves? And again, that takes courage, but I know we can all do it. I know you can do it, and I'm doing it. So I hope this reading is helpful for you for this month of August, which proves to have lots of twists and turns and upside down moments, but I really believe it's all for the better and it's all going to shake out that way eventually. So the theme for the month is a beautiful card, and it is happy, happy. So I did ask the question, which I'm going to pull, you're going to have an opportunity to pick card 1, 2, or 3, and I will pull an animal guide. Personally for you, that will be your anchor. But as I always say, I invite you to stay for the whole reading because the other animal guides will have some sort of insight to offer you as well. So whatever number you choose, that's going to be your anchor and something for you specifically to work with. But then the other two animals and their insight will provide guidance as well. And then I'm going to pull a final card for all of us at the end. So I hope you'll stay tuned for all of that. So when I pulled this card, Happy, Happy, and I'll share the theme with this. I mean, it's pretty obvious what the theme is. But also I asked the question for each of us to examine is how do we stay on the path of happiness despite what the outside world is trying to tell us, right? Or showing us. So how do we stay on the path of happiness? So happy, happy, the essential meanings of this card are joy and contentment, a sense of fulfillment, and a feeling that all is well. So if we look at this from the state of our inner child and patterns of protection that we have set up, right now it is shaking that inner child, maybe a part of our inner child or something that has happened in our life that isn't quite fully healed. And so we can feel not safe, we can feel insecure, we can feel scared, we can feel fear. So this card, Happy, Happy, is reminding that we also have that within us. And even though there may be a lot of commotion going on, maybe in our own lives or again in the outside world, we still can have happiness in our lives as well. Those two can coexist. And I can say this from experience, just as an example, when there was something that was really difficult in my life, I would tend to just take that energy in so fully that I couldn't function sometimes for 2-3 weeks. I would set everything aside because I couldn't function. And now I've been able to move through those things much quicker as I continue to heal what needs to be healed. So happy, happy. First of all, we have the number 26 and a little bit about numerology. I'm not fully versed in numerology, but I know a little bit. So 26, when you add the 6 and 2 together, is 8, which is interesting because that's about stepping into our own power. And again, we are in Leo season, so that's just another reminder. So on this card, we have this woman so she's very happy, and she's got the little hummingbird behind her, reminding her that joy is her birthright. We come to live in joy. We're not here to suffer. We are definitely not here to suffer and to live from a state of joy. So I'm going to read you the Oracle's message, and then I want you to be thinking if you want card 1, 2, or 3, and then I'll pull those cards. So the Oracle's message is, your desires are effortlessly fulfilled now. Find joy in the present moment, whatever is happening. And I think that's really important to remember. And be satisfied with things as they are. You're free from the shackles of longing and able to experience the liberation that comes from actually being happy moment to moment, for you have chosen happiness over yearning for it. I really like that, because you have chosen happiness. How many of us yearn for happiness? When this or that happens, I'll be happy. And we can look at that in the way of the state of the world right now. If this or that happens, well, then I'll be happy. But no, we're being called to be happy right now, in this moment, and from moment to moment, despite that. Now is the time for feeling joy for the sake of joy and experiencing contentment. None of this is because of something outside yourself. Your happiness is a result of your being at one with Spirit's plan for your life. All is well. The tide is in for now. Enjoy playfully splashing in it. I just remember, I do have that book here. Never mind. Okay, so that is the theme for the month, happy, happy. So the question again, how do you stay on the path of happiness? So we have cards 1, 2, or 3 from my Animal Reflections Healing Oracle deck. And this is going to be your animal guide. I'm going to start with card number 2. And card number 2 is Giraffe and Intuition. And, right away when I pulled this card and I looked at this, and in terms of staying in the present moment and staying happy, I felt looking at this symbol was sort of dizzying. And what can often happen is when there's so much commotion in the world or in our personal lives, it can feel dizzying, and we can get sucked into that. We can sucked into that spiral, and it just continues to loop and loop and loop. But then we look at the giraffe, and the giraffe is so graceful. And what I love about the giraffe is they have this higher perspective, but at the same time, they're just such graceful creatures. And they're so balanced on those tall, lean legs. I mean, just think about what that must take. Thank goodness they have the long neck, because they've got the long legs to help them stay balanced. So how do you stay on the path of happiness? First of all, staying in tune with your own heart and your own intuition. Even with all the commotion in the world, listening for what feels right to you, what doesn't feel right to you. Again, don't get so caught up in it, but just coming back to what feels right for you, and then continuing to live from a state of happiness and whatever that looks like for you. So I just wanted to read a small section of the guidebook for Giraffe that stood out to me to share with you today. So Giraffe is by nature quiet and non-combative, keen qualities to take note of at this time. As you do your inner work, unencumbered by outside distractions, you are more easily able to release negative forces and stay in harmony with your own essential way of being. Giraffe has a large and strong heart, so blood can make it up their long neck to their brain, facilitating critical thinking. Really important right now too, right? This reminds you to pause when feelings of confusion arise. The third horn is the middle of Giraffe's head, is symbolic of the third chakra in the middle of your forehead, which is connected to your intuition. So to stay on the path of happiness, if you pick number one, is really, working on strengthening your intuition, staying connected to your heart, and doing those things that do bring you happiness. And also, in order to stay balanced, perhaps it's prayer for you, perhaps it's meditation, perhaps it's walking in nature. When you do feel off balance and you do feel all this commotion and all getting caught up in those energies, finding a way to come back to center and stay tuned into your intuition and your heart center. So that is number one. And I think that really applies to all of us, right? Some of us are stronger at our intuition than others, but we're all working on it at some different level. So if you pick card number one, it is Llama and Healer. And I'm just going to grab, so how do you stay on the path of happiness? First and foremost is remembering that you have the ability to heal whatever needs healing within you. And by doing that work and remembering that and trusting that, that is the path to happiness, is healing what needs healed within you. So I'm going to, wrong book. Now what did I do? There it is. So Llama and Healer, I'm going to read the section here that I think is pertinent right now. When encountering Llama, you can sense from its staunch stance and head held high its quiet self-assurance, known for its ability to be well-grounded yet connected with the spiritual realm. Llama encourages you to instill both these practices into your life on a daily basis in order to feel harmony within yourself. And again, it's somewhat like giraffe, seeing the bigger perspectives, but yet staying balanced and self-assured. So often we default to a guru or other external influence for the answer because this is what we've been conditioned to believe. But Llama assures you that you are your best healer. So whether you're listening to all the different aspects in the outside world, or you're listening to different spiritual teachers, you're listening to this reading, you take what resonates with you and you let go of the rest. That's about staying in tune with your own intuition and your own healer. And that's been my journey up until this point in my life, and continues to be, is I have different teachers and mentors, but sometimes they say things that doesn't feel right for me personally. And I don't think that makes them a bad person. It's just that doesn't fit for me. And that's okay. That's absolutely okay. But I think what Llama here is sharing with you, if you chose this card, number one, how do I stay on the path of happiness, is really staying in tune with what you know is yours to do, what yours is to carry, and what yours is to heal. And to do that work, because we need every one of you, every person. This world needs every one of us to be doing what is ours to do, and to heal what needs to be healed, and to live from that happy space within each of us. So the last card, which would be, now where am I? 1, 2. Okay, so if you pick number 3, it is Snail and Forgiveness. So Snail is all about determination, expanding your consciousness. It's also about progress and fertility. And on my card, it represents forgiveness. But I first want to turn your attention to the fact that, this is my favorite symbol, is the spiral. And the spiral is such a beautiful example of the inner work, because when we spiral in and we do the healing work, when we come back out of that spiral, we are a changed person. We have expanded our compassion. And in order to live from happiness, we have to continue to embrace that spiral, because we have different teachings and different moments in life. We have difficult moments in our life that require us to go inward, but we learn something from that, and we are changed, and we come back out a better person. Snail also has very poor eyesight, so I love that as a metaphor of how they have to feel their way through life. And for so long we've been in our thinking brains, and we are being asked to really feel all the different emotions that are coming up at this time. And in order to get to the side of happiness, we have to feel the pain. That's just part of it. We can't bypass that. We can't just push that to the side. We have to feel it in order, and maybe as you've heard, you have to feel it to heal it. I also have this on my wall as my reminders: how to feel your emotions. Feel it, name it, breathe through it, practice gratitude. And the way to stay on the path of happiness is to do all of those things. That's all part of what makes us a full, whole human being. And no, maybe I'm thinking of something else. Never mind that. But I am going to read a small portion of the guidebook for snail. So let me remember here which part I was going to. Yeah, snail with its protective shell asks you to remember a time when you felt vulnerable and put a defensive wall around yourself so as not to be hurt again. Oftentimes, these walls are still in place long after the situation has dissipated. In sending you this card, or in fact, as you choosing this card, it's encouraging you to be patient as you slowly and carefully let your guard down so you can start clearing away past distressing experiences. And all this commotion in the world right now is bringing some aspect up in our personal selves that needs to be cleared, needs to be healed, needs to be seen, needs to be heard. Do so with compassion for yourself and be sure to set judgment to the side, along with worry about where you think you should be. And this is judgment of self. So this is forgiving yourself of those times, you've maybe beat yourself up internally, or you've said, oh, this was a mistake that I did this or that. But really, it's setting aside judgment and worry about where you think you should be. Because if you stay stuck in that, thinking, oh, I should be here, there, wherever, you can't have happiness in your life as well. So I think that is the majority of the reading, but then I want to share a last card, because a lot of times I do talk about, inner work and, healing past inner child aspects of ourselves. And I recently got a deck called Inner Child Oracle by Lynn, which I think goes really nice with my deck as well, because I do talk a lot about the inner work, and there's inner child aspects to my deck. So just as a final message for all of us, I pulled a card for our inner child. And it's an interesting card. And again, how do I stay on the path of happiness? And I think this is really important because the message says disappointment is not the end. There is hope even in the darkest of nights. And I think that is so appropriate for right now as we are going through some challenging times. And, no matter what you think of what's going on in the outside world, you can pick any issue. And, some people are going to be disappointed, some people aren't. But I think to remember that disappointment is not the end, because we have a choice to be happy despite what plays out in the world again, and that there is hope even in the darkest of nights, because we have to see the dark in order for the light. It's like shining the light on the darkness in order to heal so many things that need to be healed, collectively and personally. So how do we all stay on the path of happiness? Is remembering that there is hope. There is hope in these dark times. We are moving through this for a reason. And I do believe it will bring, more unity. It will bring more joy. It will bring more happiness. But ultimately, it is up to us, each one of us, to keep walking that path of happiness and doing the work that is required of you to do. And your work is going to look different than mine. And my work is going to look different than the other person. So I hope that was helpful for this month of August. Stay grounded, reach out if you need help, talk to people who you feel safe with. And make sure you put lots of things in your life that bring you happiness, and do as much of that as you can. And be courageous and be that lion that you are. And walk proud and tall of the beautiful expression that you are, that we We need each of us in this world to be the true expression of who we are. All right, everyone, have a great month. Let me know what you think of the reading. Add any insight that you may have in the comments. I would love, love, love to hear. And I will see you again in September. Take good care. Or as I like to say, take good, gentle care. All right, I'll see you again. Bye bye.